So we leave the asylum and Killjoy behind. We're actually going to be heading towards the beachfront now. This particular part will have a bit more darker themes. Yes, this entire game is dark, but this is a particularly dark section. It does involve slavery and the slave trade that happened on Carnate Island. It does involve a new enemy in particular called the Fester, but we will eventually meet a new companion as well. And this will be our boy coming up, the preacher-sounding guy. But we'll get to him whenever we get to him. The rat that just exploded on me and these rats that are trying to explode on me now are part of the Fester. The burning corpses that are currently all around us are actually the Festers. But whenever they go down, they send in kamikaze rat enemies. That's basically a brand new sentence. Sounds really weird, but that is what they do. So whenever you kill a Fester, you will want to look out. And I swear every time I say Fester, it just makes me think of the Addams Family. But yeah, we deal with the enemies. Shotgun, again, really good for marksmen because it will stop them from shooting us. As long as we hit them even a little bit, it will stun them for a short duration and take them out of their locked and loaded phase. So it will help us not get shot by a marksman. But in the meantime, we just have these few slayers that are coming our way. And the burrower is helping us out pretty immensely. Just stop that slayer from dive bombing us. So the burrowers can actually be pretty friendly whenever they want to be. And here we can actually see an example of Killjoy's rebirth machine bringing back one of the slayers. So that is something that we have to be aware of from this point on. If enemies don't die by being dismembered or are missing limbs or anything in particular like that, they have a chance of coming back. So we do have to be aware of that, at least. So we always want to make sure that we're watching bodies that are no longer moving, because there is a chance that the rebirth will happen and they will come back up. Unless we can just dismember them, which is another good option. But now we have the fire axe, we can actually use it pretty effectively on the burrowers, since it has a stun locking mechanic to it with every hit. The burrower will actually get knocked back every time we swing it. So it is an option for burrowers. So if we don't have shotgun, we will always have the fire axe, since it doesn't take any ammo. But here we just have to deal with this last slayer. It got rebirthed, so we had to deal with it. We do have plenty of zombie pills in the corner that we can grab, so we do that. But Clem kind of cut off our road here, so we do need to take the cliffside. And here's another example of a Fester just burning on the ground. Clem is putting in work getting rid of them. So he's a good guy, but at the same time, he kind of cut us off. And I accidentally hit the map button. It does happen. Again, whenever I did play this game, I had to remap the controls really, really janky. So it was just kind of all over the place for the control buttons. In particular, there were some that were just really odd. My jump button was actually my L1, and a bunch of other things were just scattered throughout the D-pads. So, on occasion I do hit the wrong thing. I did get kind of used to it as we went, but still, it does happen. And I did start taking advantage of the roll a little bit, though still don't use it a ton, just because the recovery frames on it are so terrible. But it will help you in the niche situation of dodging a marksman if there is cover around. But here we just crank this truck because it'll allow us to get past the bridge, and we can use it as a bridge. So then we can go on to the next area where we'll meet Clem. So we can just climb onto the truck and then climb into the next loading area. But now we will meet Clem. He is another morale decision. You can just instantly get rid of him or help him escape the island. So, of course, since we're doing the good ending, I will help him escape. And Clem is actually the narrator of the bestiary in this game. If you ever use the archives, he will actually tell you about the enemies, which is pretty interesting. I would actually recommend listening to it, because he does give you background on the monsters and their whole histories. And that's actually where you can learn a lot of the monsters' backstory and their names. So it's just fun to catch up on the lore of the game. It's never really fully explained in the stories themselves, but Clem does do a pretty good job overall. But here we actually can see that the enemies do have like a hunting of each other sort of thing going on. But this is the introduction of the Fester, which has ties to the slave trade. So, a bit of the darker history of Carnate. It was a hub for slave trading, and the Festers happen to be the monster rendition of that, given that they have chains, masks, and, you know, general restrictive equipment, along with rats that were probably omnipresent in the ship's holes. So they do have a dark history to them. And the whole kamikaze rat thing is definitely very annoying. They are also bulletproof, so you do want to be aware of that. The things that can actually hurt them, which Clem doesn't tell you until after you get rid of the first three, explosions, Molotovs, or fire, and the fire axe. So, yeah. And Clem is very bad sometimes about hitting me, but we do want him to live. So yeah, the downside of having companions, especially with Festers, since you need to be near them to hit them with a fire axe, you can be caught in the crossfire, and it can suck.
What's more, they are impervious to bullets and can only be blown up, burned, or if you are truly brave, hacked up with an axe. They seem to have some.
And yes, this man did decide to finally tell us, after we dealt with the first three, what their weakness is. Like an asshole. But here, like you said, we're coming up on an 18th century slave ship that was wrecked on Carnate. So, it is kind of interesting. Because this is around Baltimore, in Maryland. So, we are in the starting colonies area.
Instead, they left them shackled in the ship's hull, where slowly the Negroes were consumed by rats. Damnation! The Festers are coming!
So yeah, a bit darker on the Festers. The whole left the slaves to die in the ship, eaten by rats. Pretty messed up. But as for the Festers themselves as a monster, they're not anything too extreme. Since we have the fire axe and it has infinite ammo, and we also have Molotovs, and the game is pretty decent at giving us quite a few of them, we can deal with them pretty efficiently. The worst part about them is just the kamikaze rats that they leave. And honestly, the burrowers make this part just the more annoying bit. But since monsters can infight, like you're seeing right now, we can actually let them do that a bit more. The burrower even took out the fester for us there. And then its rats, I believe, actually just tried to attack the burrower, but it was down back below at that point. But yeah, if you're going to use the fire axe at this part, be mindful that Clem likes throwing Molotovs into the back of your head anytime you are near a fester. You can be kind of a dick about it. So, you do have to be mindful of companions' attacks. There is friendly fire from them, and they do seem to like doing it a lot. As for the rats that come out of the festers, the best tactic that I've come up with is just try and line yourself up perpendicularly and then run to the left or the right. It'll usually dodge about 90% of the rats, but at the same time, some of them just jank out and can go wherever they please. But here we have Clem's little crappy rat that somehow can float. Not sure that man ever trust that thing. I sure as hell wouldn't, but each their own. I would probably trust it to get off this damn island. That much is true. But we're going to need to block up the festers that are coming out of the water for Clem to escape, like he said. So in the meantime, we're just going to clear out the guys on the beach. There is also burrowers still, being annoying. And surprisingly, Clem didn't just Molotov the back of my skull again.
I clambered out that large sewer pipe to escape from Abbott. Now I wonder if we...
But yeah, once we clear that wave, Clem gives us a little bit more. We will need to clear out another little wave and then go inside the slave ship and stop the festers from coming out. And for those that are unaware, yeah, Molotovs work in water. It's kind of weird. Not really sure how that works entirely, but you do have the option. Although, 2004 game, you know, physics kind of janky. So, it happens. But we just need to clear out these few remaining guys. The rats aren't really that much of a problem. They are super weak, so we can get rid of them rather easily. And the burrower can sometimes be hit while it's going underground, or even while it's underground. It really just depends on how the jank wants to work with you.
Creatures are coming from inside the wreck. If you can get in there, you might be able to destroy them. Then I'll be able to launch. If you will assist me in this matter, I will make it worth your while. My flimsy raft cannot save.
But yeah, Clem just wants us to stop the festers from coming out of the waves. And his boat only fits one person, so we can't ride with him. And he's basically saying, sucks to be you, but we do want to help him. Because it is a good morality decision. It's just something that we want to do. As he throws another Molotov into the back of our head and we're starting to rethink our decision. And then into our face. My man really does not want to get on our good side in the meantime, so. And once you get so far into water, you actually can't swing anymore, so that's what's happening whenever I am in the water. It is kind of weird how it works, but at the same time, it's just how it works. But yeah, I don't want Clem exactly dying, so I do spend a bit more time than I need to helping him with the festers here. In the meantime, we can just go into the ship once this guy opens the door and go and get rid of where the festers spawn. But yeah, we get the messed up history there. We do want to just shoot the barrels up here, and they'll fall into the water and stop the festers from spawning. And yeah, they are flaming barrels, so we do need to shoot them. So we do want to start the oil fire from the barrels and carry on from there. At that point, Clem won't have to really worry. And then he can launch out. So don't do like I do, just activate the fire. You can explore the ship after the fact, because we do actually need to climb it to get to the next area. So you dump in the barrels, start the fire, the festers no longer spawn because of the fire. And there I just happened to miss completely, but then we end up starting the fire. And that stops the festers, so now we can go talk to Clem. There are Molotovs that we can grab up there, and we can see him setting sail.
My eternal thanks to you, sir. I left you a valuable map up near the sewer entrance. Good luck. Don't let the bastards keep you down.
Set 'em free.
But yeah, he does give us a hidden items map, and our wife does tell us that we did a good job, so now we just need to go back upstairs and go into the sewers. From that point, we're going to be basically chasing Horace around to deal with him, same way we dealt with Killjoy. So we're very close on to a boss fight, but other than that, we just need to go into the sewers. But let me know what you guys think, and have a good one.